Hi guys, this is Angelo Quinones, and I'm reading from the article, the December 15th, 1974 article, okay, entitled "Who Will See the Sign of the Son of Man?" And this book is about 800 pages long, and it's a collection of 1974 articles. Okay, now that's important because remember that the false prophecy is just a year after this year. Okay, 1975. So this is a December 15th, 1974 article, 15 days before the coming of the so-called coming of the Lord in that year, okay? Now it says over here on page 149, we read this, okay, in this article. Now, the quote, chosen ones, end quote, and their companions having been, okay, clearly identified and brought under the invisible protection of the king. Now, they call Jesus the king. Okay? Now, check this out. Of the king, the destruction can then go ahead. As it says over here, it need not be a long, okay, drawn out tribulation, but can be, quote, cut short, end quote. Now, in this way, some flesh is saved. Okay, some flesh is saved. As I look here, this quote, flesh, end quote, is saved not to be sold into slavery, but for, okay, survival into God's new order because of exercising faith in the messianic kingdom, okay, and discerning Christ's invisible presence. Let me stop over there, okay? Because I listen. First of all, the Greek word parousia, which means presence, but it's translated more coming in the Bible. So it means the two things, presence and coming. I cannot deny that. But the problem is they're using the word invisible. Nowhere in the New Testament are the two Greek words parousia, which means presence or coming, and aoratu. It has the negative, the alpha over there. Okay, aoratu. And that means invisible. That's found a couple of times in Colossians chapter 1. It's found at least one time in verse 15 of Colossians 1. No time are those two words joined together either in a crosses or anything like that. That's when a combination of Greek words are combined by dropping the vowels, okay? Dropping some of the vowels. Okay? And it never is joined together speaking about the coming of the Lord, meaning it's a parousia aoratu, okay, or any other combination. It's not found in the Bible. That's it. So it's not going to be invisible. You can't make a teaching that's not in the Bible, okay? And that's what they do, and that's why they're wrong all the time, setting dates and then other things, okay? Well, how can you trust an organization like that? Returning the text. Hence, it says over here, okay, Christ's invisible presence, okay? Now check this out. Hence, though, okay, spared from death, as were those 97,000 survivors in Jerusalem. Okay, they're talking about, the destruction of 70 A.D. By the way, they say CE. They never say A.D. They hate the fact of A.D. Okay? All right. Now, it says over here, the, quote, chosen ones, end quote, and the, quote, great crowd, end quote, are not, quote, pictured, quote, by those, okay, unrighteous ones back there. Okay, there is a similarity only in the fact that in both instances, flesh was spared, and also in Jehovah's mercy in not wiping out all the Jews there nor all the people at this time. Now remember when they're writing this, okay? They're writing this in 1974, okay? The only tribulation at that time was gasoline prices, okay? Let's just face it, folks, all right? Now check this out. That might have been in 1975, but that's the only tribulation they really had to go on. As it says over here, let me see, there's another section, not misled by false messiahs. Okay, this is another section. In telling what would happen to Jerusalem, Jesus warned his disciples of false messiahs in that day, and also the things that would be necessary for Christians to watch for in expecting his parousia, meaning his presence or coming, or, quote, presence, end quote. See, they're mistaken because it means coming also. They have to put a or coming. It strictly doesn't mean presence. Okay. Anyway, even if it did, there's a papyri of a woman saying that she has to return to her business, okay, and make a parousia, make a presence. Well, the lady wasn't invisible, okay. I'm talking about a lady outside of the Bible now. She was going to make a coming to. She was going to make a coming, okay, or a presence to her business. So she was gonna be she wasn't going to be you know what I mean, invisible when she went to the business, okay. Okay, and that's in secular. You can check that out on Associates for Biblical Research, Archaeology. Now check this out. In Kingdom Power, okay, he said. Oh, also check out Philippians chapter 2. That parousia is used, by the way. This is just me and speaking, and it talks about the presence of Paul. Well, the last time I saw in the Bible, he wasn't invisible. Okay, all right, and yeah. He said, quote, then if anyone says to you, look, here is the Christ, or there, do not believe it, for false Christs and false prophets will arise and will give great signs and wonders, so as to mislead, if possible, even the chosen ones. They never use the word elect. Never. Because elect has something to do that it has nothing to do with you. Okay, choosing God or anything like that. You know that. As over here, look, I have forewarned you. Therefore, if people say to you, look, he is in the wilderness, do not go out. Look, he is in the inner chambers, do not believe it. For just as the lightning comes out of eastern parts and shines over to western parts, shall the presence of the Son of Man will be. Wherever the carcass is, wherever the carcass is, there the eagles will be gathered together. End quote. You know, a carcass, animal dies as a carcass, right? Well, and it's guaranteed that birds or whatever are going to go to that animal and start picking away. In other words, the Lord Jesus, forget about the Watchtower for now. In other words, the Lord Jesus is saying that his coming is a guarantee. That's what it means. Okay? That's what it means. Okay? This is not going to fail. Matthew chapter 24, verses 23 to 28. And it says over here, when Christ would return in an invisible, presence, he would not come as a man on earth. Now, first of all, he had, and this is just me and speaking, he had the same body, his body was crucified, and the same body came out of the tomb. Why do I say that? Well, I say that because even the Watchtower Society's New World Translation, 1950, says it. John chapter 2, verse 19. Destroy this temple, and in 3 days I will raise it. It says it up again. It, not another one. It doesn't say that my Father is going to raise another body. It doesn't say that that Jesus was going to raise another body. It doesn't say that anybody was going to raise another body. It's the same body. Okay? I will raise it up again. And by the way, verse 27 of chapter 20, the great invitation to Thomas the twin, Jesus said, here, look at the scars. Okay? Put your hand in my side and believe. So it wasn't another body, though, because if it was another body, it wouldn't have the crucifixion scars. Okay, that's the thing about that. And Psalm 16 says again, if that doesn't grab you, you will not leave my soul in hell. Thou will not suffer thy Holy One or let thy Holy One to see corruption. How about that? How about those apples, huh? So it's the same body. He's going to come in a visible body, in a tangible, visible body. Because the two, okay, witnesses, no pun intended, that told the disciples, hey, why are you looking in the sky? The same Jesus is going to come in the same way. There you go. Now, let's return to this nonsense, okay? Therefore, Christians should not, okay, let me see, okay. When Christ would return in an invisible presence, and I already said that the Greek word parousia, which is coming or presence, and aoratu, which is invisible, doesn't appear together when it's talking about Jesus' return. Returning to text. When Christ would return in an invisible presence, he would not come as a man on earth. Therefore, Christians should not, okay, look for him, quote, in the wilderness, end quote, so that they could train with him in some out of the way place for a revolution. Nor would he be in some secret, quote, inner chamber, end quote, where he could conspire against world governments with his followers. Now, his presence, there's the presence again, his presence was to be like lightning, not in its being instantaneous and unexpected, but in its being seen over a wide area in the open for everyone to behold. Luke chapter 17, verse 24. It says, compare Psalm 97, verse 4. It says, his followers, okay, would not keep their knowledge of his invisible presence secret. So they're the followers, huh? That's what they're trying to say. But would give it widespread proclamation. Matthew chapter 10, verses 26 and 27. That the context of that, it doesn't talk about the coming of the Lord in chapter 10. It's talking about Jesus, Jesus telling the disciples, what to do when they go to certain cities and stuff like that. Okay. Anyway, returning to text. The, quote, chosen ones, end quote, Jesus said, okay, would not be deceived and disappointed by false Christs. They are symbolically like, quote, eagles. See, they call themselves eagles. The eagles, end quote, in having sharp spiritual insight. You gotta be joking. Insight. You're not even in Christianity 101, okay? Right? Insight. I mean, please, give me a break, okay? All right. He who denies the Father or the Son has neither, okay? There you go. So, let me see what I'm going to say over here. Okay, it says over here, as an eagle knows where the, let me see, carcass on which he is to feed is to be found. So, okay, the far-sighted, quote, chosen ones, end quote, would gather, okay, together to the looked for Messiah. And I have to end there, guys, okay? So they call themselves the eagles, the far-sighted eagles, but they're spiritually blind, okay? Buy some eye salve so that you may see. And that goes to the Watchtower Society. This is Angelo Quinones. Bye-bye, guys. of the king, the destruction can then go ahead. And it says over here, it need not be a long, drawn out tribulation, but can be, quote, cut short, end quote. Now, in this way, some flesh is saved. Some flesh is saved. As I look here, this quote, flesh, end quote, is saved, not parousia, which means presence, but it's translated more coming in the Bible. So it means the two things, presence and coming. I cannot deny that. But the problem is they're using the word invisible. Nowhere in the New Testament are the two Greek words parousia, which means presence or coming, and aoratu. It has the negative, the alpha over there. Aoratu. And that means invisible. That's found a couple of times in Colossians chapter 1. To be sold into slavery, but for, survival into God's new order because of exercising faith in the Messianic kingdom, and discerning Christ's invisible presence. Let me stop over there, because I listen. First of all, the Greek word of the so-called coming of the Lord in that year, Now it says over here on page 149, we read this, in this article. Now, the quote, chosen ones, end quote, and their companions having been, clearly identified and brought under the invisible protection of the king. Now, they call Jesus the king, Now, check this out. Hi, guys, this is Angelo Quinones, and I'm reading from the article, the December 15th, 1974 article, entitled, Who Will See the Sign of the Son of Man? And this book is about 800 pages long, and it's a collection of 1974 articles, Now, that's important because remember that the false prophecy is just a year after this year, 1975. So this is a December 15th, 1974 article, 15 days before the coming